Player ratings then, bit of a mad angle list, but we're on the go, we're in work, on my dinner, so you'll have to cope with it. As I mentioned in the instant match reaction, didn't walk through my door until stupid hours of this morning and was in work extremely early, so there was not a chance I was doing any video before going to bed. So you'll have to put up with the mad angle and the different change of scenery, but it is the player ratings. Arsenal 4, Everton 0 at the Emirates last night. Another absolutely horrific performance on North London. I've been to North London a few times now to watch Everton Football Club, and I've not once seen us even put in a subpar average performance. Every single time it has been absolutely horrific. To be fair, every single time I've gone and watched Everton away from home, whether it be North London, whether it be Birmingham, whether it be, Watford, whether it be Wolverhampton, no matter where it be, Leeds, more often than not, it's a horrific performance. So I shouldn't really be surprised. And I'm not really surprised, to be honest with you. If you'd have asked me before the game how I'd have felt this game would go, I would have probably predicted something like what actually happened. And I don't actually think Everton were horrendous for 40 minutes yesterday. I think Everton were fairly in control, not in a sense of in control of the game or in control of possession or anything like that, just in control in the sense of I thought we were playing well, I thought we were working hard, I thought we were keeping them to very few chances and very few opportunities, and I think the game plan, whatever that game plan was working until Vitaly Mykolenko decided to stand and think about what he was going to have for his tea and allow one of the most, informed forwards in the league to get a shot on goal. And then, of course, Gate decided to write a postcard and then allow it, quickly for it to become 2-0. And then once it was 2-0, let's be honest, I can't even really remember the third and fourth goal. We are going to do the review to this game a little bit later on tonight, which will be live. And if I'm being honest with you, the third and fourth goal are just a blur because, the manager made so many changes. The game was practically over at that point. It didn't really matter because we were never, ever coming back from 2-0 down because we can't score a goal, never mind 2 goals. But anyway, enough of that. We went over the majority of that in the instant match reaction. So if you want to check that out, please do so. This is the player ratings. We're going to go through every player and give them a mark between 1 and 10 on their performance yesterday. It works. 1 is absolutely dreadful and 10 is a rating that nobody is going to get. Spoiler alert. Anyway, in goal then, Jordan Pickford. I'm going to give Jordan a 5.5. Now, might be a little bit harsh that. Obviously, he conceded 4 goals, and I don't particularly think a couple of them were his fault. I don't think Martinelli's first goal was his fault, and I don't particularly think Odegaard's was his fault either. However, the other 2, he was beaten in his near post. Now, okay, there is a massive argument to say that Saka's goal is, fully on Vitaly Mykolenko, and that there's, it'd be very harsh to criticise Jordan Pickford for being beaten at his near post, given the power of the shot and the accuracy of the shot and, how close Bukayo Saka was to the goal. But I still think, that height, that close to his near post, I still think Jordan Pickford maybe should have done a little bit better with it. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying, oh my God, he's massively at fault for it, because it was, of course, Vitaly Mykolenko. But I still think Jordan maybe could have done a little bit better to try and at least get something on it. But, look, as I said, at the end of the day, maybe that's a little bit harsh. The 4th goal, again, beaten at his near post. Again, you could say poor defending by Michael Keane, poor defending by James Tarkowski, but I expected a little bit more from Jordan from that sense as well. Other than that, he didn't really do much wrong. Made a couple of impressive saves, I suppose, towards the end of the game. But as I said, at that point, I was literally, I'm not gonna lie to any ears. I was watching the clock at that point. I'll never leave an Everton game early, nothing against anybody that does. But I spent the last half an hour clock watching to just as if to say, get me out of this fucking place. So a lot of the things that happened in that last half an hour, I can't remember. But yeah, Jordan was all right. Could he have done a little bit better? Maybe, but other than that, he was all right. Left back then, Vitaly Mykolenko, he's getting a 1. I don't care how harsh it sounds. I don't care how unfair it is. I don't care how many people might seem to think he's actually not that bad. He needs taken out of this team, and he needs taken out of this team ASAP. There's not a world that I can imagine Vitaly Mykolenko starts against Nottingham Forest on Sunday. He's been absolutely horrific recently, and I mean absolutely horrific. Again, he is massively at fault for Bukayo Saka's goal yesterday. He completely allows Bukayo Saka to turn in the box, one of the most informed players in the league, all of the time, all of the space in the world to turn and get a shot off. But not only that, even before that, there were warning signs. Just been talking to my dad on the phone, and I was talking about how there were 2 or 3 opportunities that Bukayo Saka had in that opening 20 minutes where he'd had the ball on the wing and Vitaly Mykolenko was nowhere near him. And, he'd either, Saka had either messed it up and put it out of play by accident, or McNeil had got back and or Onana had got back and managed to, close the space off. But every single time that ball gets switched, every single time that ball gets put on, whoever we're playing, whoever their right winger is or right forward is, Vitaly Mykolenko is always 3 days behind the game. And again, it's simple schoolboy defence. I can't explain to you how Sunday League it is to stick with your man. I used to play left back growing up as a kid. I was a right back, but I played left back, so I had to learn how to use my left foot. And I was always told, always know where your man is. Don't wander off. Don't get attracted to the ball. Don't get attracted to your centre halves. Always know where your man is behind you. It's what you learn when you're 6, 7, 8 years old, playing on a pitch, down your local park. Never mind a 20-odd-year-old Premier League footballer. It's really, really, really important. It's not just the goal I'm referring to. If you go back and watch the game, which I'm sure none of you will because who wants to, there's 3 or 4 occasions where he's miles away. He's miles away from whoever's on that right side for Arsenal. And this isn't an anomaly. This is something that Vitaly Mykolenko does every week. So for me, he's getting a 1. He needs taken out of the team. Simply not good enough at the moment. James Tarkowski, I'm going to give him a 3. Again, I can't really sit here and talk about a 4-0 defeat and sit here and give one of the centre-halves a particularly high score. I think he could have done better for the 4th goal. I think he completely allows Gabriel Martinelli to just run off him and tap it in. The others, could he have done a little bit more for the first goal? Probably not. Garner's mistake, maybe not. But, look, again, he just didn't have his greatest of games, did he? He wasn't individually dreadful, but he didn't have his greatest of games. So, yeah, he's getting a 3.5. Michael Keane, I'm actually going to give Michael Keane a 4. Again, we conceded 4 goals, and ultimately I can't sit here and give a centre-half a relatively big score, after that performance. But I don't think Michael Keane was as much of a disaster as maybe we all expected him to be. Obviously, he was brought in for Connor Cody, which the decision to take Connor Cody out of the team is the right decision. Whether or not I'd have gone with Michael Keane to replace him is another thing when you had Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey on the bench. But yeah, I thought he was just okay. Again, could he have done a little bit better for the 4th goal? Probably, but at that point, I think every one of the players and pretty much everybody in that away end had almost pretty much, as I've just said before, looking at the clock, sort of thinking, get us out of here. This has been an absolute disaster, and we're not going to get home until stupid o'clock in the morning, so just blow your whistle. In fact, I was fuming when the referee had the 2 minutes of added time on, not because I don't think there should have been 2 minutes added on, but why, we're losing 4-0, we've got to get home. Fuck, don't add 2 minutes on, we don't want to watch more of this shite, just blow the whistle. But yeah, I thought he was okay. I don't think he was a complete disaster. I don't think he was amazing. I thought he was okay. Seamus Coleman, then I'm going to give Seamus a 6. I thought he was average. Thought there was a couple of bits of good defending he did. Down that right-hand side. Can't really remember him being at fault individually for anything in particular. Of course, there were a couple of moments where he allowed the cross to come in or he allowed the ball to be played around. But that is what happens when you've got a 30-odd-year-old right-back playing against, young, hungry forward players who can smell blood in Everton. He was taken off, which, some people will say was the right decision, some people won't say was the right decision. I think he was probably taken off on the auspices that he'll be playing on Sunday. But yeah, I thought he was all right. Garner's getting a 1. Again, I don't care. I don't care how, neat his passing might be at times. I don't care how Some people seem to think he's been absolutely amazing since he's joined the football club. That's what, 6 mistakes now, 5 mistakes directly from him that have led to goals. We sat here after the Villa game and we spoke about Garner's penalty, and I spoke about how even if he does get a touch on the ball, to make that challenge in that position is stupid, considering that challenge has to be 100%, spot on for it to have not been given, and it wasn't, so it was silly to make. I think back to Brighton at home when he made a similar mistake. I think he's made 4 or 5 mistakes now that have directly led to goals, and this one yesterday might just be the worst. I'm not quite sure what he's thinking. Some people are seen on Twitter saying he's playing for a foul. You don't play for a foul on the edge of your own box when you're 1-0 down away from home. You just don't. It's idiotic. It's absolutely idiotic. It was never offside, so I don't see what the point of the thing was, or it was never going to get given offside anyway. Whether or not it was offside is a different question. It was never going to get given offside, is what I meant. But even if it was offside, again, I've seen a few people moaning, how was this given? It was offside, blah, 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 blah. We should really be focusing on what our centre midfielder is doing, facing our goal, dilly-dallying with the ball, instead of just playing the pass, or instead of just, making a decision. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. You wouldn't think that has come from a lad who's just been playing with Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe and Neymar for 3 years. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. And as I said, similar with the Vitaly Mykolenko argument, Adesanya again needs taken out of this team now, because that's 6 mistakes that he's led that have directly led to goals this season. Also, not really to defend Garner, but where's the shouts? Why isn't Pickford screaming at him to say, lad, there's a fucking fella behind you, pass the ball? Or why isn't Tarkowski screaming at him? It's almost like everybody just freezes, and it's a surprise that he gets the ball taken off him. It's just idiotic. And as I said in the instant match reaction, when you're in a relegation battle and you already have got nothing going forward and you can't score goals, you simply cannot afford to be making mistakes like that. It's beyond disbelief at how that was allowed to happen. But yeah, Garner's getting a 1. Decore 4, ran round a bit, put himself about a bit. Let's be honest, didn't really have much of an impact on the game whatsoever. I think he had another opportunity where he was in and around the area and he cocked it up, but wasn't as clear as maybe his ones over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, wasn't massively involved, didn't really have an impact on the game. Onana, similarly, 4, didn't really have an impact on the game, wasn't massively involved, wasn't individually at fault for any goal or any mistake, but also wasn't responsible for getting us back in the game or trying to get us back in the game, etc. Just irrelevant. I think the pair of them were irrelevant yesterday. Onto the forward line, and Iwobi's getting a 3. Really abstract performance by Alex Iwobi yesterday. Really, really poor performance by Alex Iwobi. Just didn't do anything, didn't offer anything. And, this has been the big criticism of Alex Iwobi since he's joined Everton Football Club, is as a winger, as a forward player, what does he offer? What does he bring? What does he give to this team? And, at the moment, we are looking at players to ultimately stand up and step up and be that creator, be that goal scorer, be that hero, be that player we can look at and go, he's going to be able to provide a bit of magic today to keep us in this game or to win us this game. And Alex Iwobi offered none of it yesterday, so yeah, poor performance. Dwight McNeil, I'm actually going to give Dwight McNeil 6, to be honest with you. I think in the first half he worked incredibly hard, thought he battled, put himself about, and I actually think he was ultimately under a lot of pressure yesterday, because the amount of times that players were just lumping the ball over to him, whether it be Coleman, whether it be Iwobi, whoever it may be, the amount of times that balls were just getting volleyed in his direction, and he was having to take them down and console them and then ultimately move on with the ball or try and make something happen was worrying. Again, he didn't do anything. He didn't create, he didn't score. It wasn't like he's sitting here saying he was the only unbelievable player, but I just think he was better than everybody else, and I think he worked harder than everybody else as well. And then Maupay, 3. I just don't know what he brings, and I don't really blame Neil Maupay, because I think he runs around a little bit, and I think he holds the ball up a little bit. I think he's got a bit of effort in there and a bit of determination, but as a Premier League side in a relegation battle, I'd probably rather have this bottle of water sitting next to me on the desk here, because he just doesn't offer us anything. Anyway, on to the subs then. Tom Davies, 2. Did he touch the ball? 1. In fact, did he touch the ball more than twice? I don't know. Oh yeah, he did. He had that shot, which he hit straight to Adam Ramsdale when he was lying on the floor. No, just been speaking to my dad on the phone then, and he said, we've got a midfield that couldn't hit a barn with a cow in a hurricane. And I don't think I can disagree. Damari Gray can get a 4. Come on, ran round a little bit, added a bit of energy, but ultimately didn't offer nothing. Mason Holgate, 3.5. Come on in midfield, had about 3 touches of the ball, and other than that, didn't really offer anything. And Ben Godfrey can get a 3.5 as well. Come on. Couple of bursts of pace, couple of bits of movement, but again, it was in that period where we were all just thinking, fucking hell, we've got a long journey home here, get us home. But yeah, there you go. 4-0 defeat. A game that nobody really expected anything out of, but it's just so frustrating when we're our own worst enemy again, and it means that this game against Forest now, we simply cannot lose. And again, it's away from home, and as you all know, we often lose away from home, so we'll wait and see. Anyway, big thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like. Don't forget to go and check out the instant match reaction as well. That is currently up on the channel, and as I said, we'll be live later with the game review. So big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you later.